it appears that in our warm-up with our two random problems, as you look around the room, does it look like the two problems on every board have the same, like the answers match?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what you did. In our first problem, we had 8x minus 3 is greater than 5x plus 6, correct? Okay. So this is what I noticed. I noticed that the first step was to put x's on one side. Doesn't that feel a lot like what we would do in an equation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I see a lot of people with minus 5x. Okay. If you have a choice with inequalities, getting the x on the left does make things nicer, but only if like you have the choice. Okay, sometimes we don't really have that option. Okay, so now we have 3x minus 3 is greater than 6. So then looking around the room, it sure looks like people are like, okay, now we got to undo that 3. So we added it to both sides to get 3x is greater than 9. And then to get x by itself, we can divide by that 3. X is greater than 3. Okay, I guess that's how I'm going to, that doesn't even look good. There you go. Okay. Then in our second problem, we had 2 times the quantity 2x minus 6 plus 3 is greater than or equal to 11. And when I was walking around, I heard some really good vocabulary being used. What was the first thing we had to do?
Distribute.
Distribute. Okay. So I saw people distribute to get 4x minus 12 plus 3 is greater than or equal to 11. I then heard another really good vocabulary word. Combine like terms. Negative 12 plus 3. So now we have 4x minus 9 is greater than or equal to 11. After we distribute, after we combine like terms, now we can move x's to one side and variables to the other. Do we have any x's to move?
No.
No, our x is already isolated. So at this point, we can just add over that 9 to then divide by 4.
You know what's fucking I realized? The numbers. I grabbed the numbers.
Yep, and I didn't ask to graph. Okay, so those two groups went above and beyond. Thank you, group 1 and 4. Going the extra mile, graphing those. Okay, so this is what I want us to write down just so we have this to come back to. Okay, when we are solving multi-step inequalities, just like with equations, we need to first look for if we need to distribute. Will we always need to distribute? No, so maybe we don't do that first step. Okay. Our second step would then be to combine like terms. Sometimes we'll have to do it, sometimes we won't. So maybe you're like, oh, okay, I don't have that step, I'll skip it. Okay. Then, just like before, okay, you need to move your variable to one side. And then move your constants to the other. Okay. I like the X on the left, but if it doesn't end up on the left, we might just have to rewrite it at the end. Okay. Our last step, just like it was in equations. So we'll probably have to divide by the coefficient. But here's where it gets just a little bit, I don't want to say tricky. Tricky is not the right word. But we have to be a little bit more careful because if we divide by a negative, we have to flip the sign if we multiply or divide by a negative number, okay? So that's probably not going to happen until our last step, but we still have to watch out for it, okay? Okay. We also have to watch out for infinite solutions and no solutions, so I'll show you what that looks like, okay? Okay, so let's turn the page. Okay. Now, I don't think we need to do a ton of examples because I think that you guys did a pretty good job with your warm-up. But I do want to go to number 3. Okay. I want to go to number 3. What would our first step in number 3 be? What do you think, Joey?
Would it be multiplying by, no, combine 2 and 3?
Okay, so I wouldn't say the word combine because they're not on the same side, but that 2 and 3 do need to go together. I see why you chose that word. How would we do that, Rachel? You got to subtract 2 from both sides. So we have b over negative 3 is less than or equal to positive 1. Okay, now here's where we need to be careful. In order to undo that negative 3, what operation do we need to do? We need to multiply by negative 3. And if we're going to be multiplying by a negative number, that means that our sign is going to flip. Okay. So we have b is greater than or equal to negative 3. How about you try number 4? Check to see if your elbow partner is getting to the same answer as you.
Negative C. Yeah. Negative C, so then you have to divide by negative. Yeah, okay. So then C less than negative 4. Because it's right there.
But would it be a positive or negative?
Times negative 2. And then it's negative.
So if you're going to multiply by negative 2, then this negative is gone. Okay, so you should have added 6 to both sides, right? So we have negative c over 2 is greater than negative 2. So I know that it's kind of weird when the negative is out in front. You can do this in 2 steps or 1 step. Okay? You can think of this as the negative is with the 2. And so we can just multiply by -2. Boo. To get x is less than 4, and we're done. Okay?
It's actually C. It's actually C is less than 4.
Oh, it's a C, not an X. Sorry.
I know, I keep making it. Like, X is the most common one.
Yeah, so if you put an X and it's a different variable, I'm not going to get too upset about it, okay? Okay. Now, I want you to look at number 5. What is the first thing we have to do? That was mid-sneeze, bless you. So we have 8 is less than or equal to -4D. 4D. Why would they put those two together? -4. Please make sure, and this is why I want to do this problem. When you take a negative number and you distribute it, make sure that negative is getting multiplied to the +1, so it becomes a -4. Okay? Careful when you distribute. Now, I know I said I like the variable on the left, but is this a case where we want to do that? I already have the variable on only one side, so we'll leave it on the right side and then rewrite it at the end. So let's go ahead and add 4 to both sides. So 12 is less than or equal to -4D. It sounds like I'm saying 40, but it's 4D. Okay? Now, here's where we're careful. We need to divide by -4, which means we get a -3 and we have to flip the sign. So -3 is greater than or equal to D. However, when we rewrite it, it becomes D is less than or equal to -3. My crocodile still needs to open to eat the -3. Are we having an argument over here, yellow group? Or are we okay? Okay. Okay. All right, now I want to go to the next page because I want to show you something that could happen. Okay. Well, okay, so I want to do number 6 and number 7. Okay? Now, when we have the choice, so notice how in number 6, we have variables on both sides. We have constants on both sides. I would highly suggest that if you have the option, like we do in this case, get the variables to the left. So my first move would be to add 4n to both sides. Okay. So that I have 5 plus 2n is greater than 8. Then we can move, subtract the 5 over. Oh no, 3 is not divisible by 2. No, it's fine. How about we just write n is greater than 3 over 2 and it's fine.
You can do that.
Yeah, fractions are our friends.
Why don't we just do 1.5?
Okay, here's the deal. You can write 1.5. You can write 3 over 2, but please do not, I repeat, do not give me a mixed number. Don't want it. We're done with mixed numbers. They're in the past. So I would really love to get you to your homework. with a good chunk of time because you're showing me that we're on the right track here. But I want to talk about number 7. I want to get my variable on the left, which means I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to subtract it over. So I'm hearing no solution. I'm hearing infinite solutions. We better have a conversation about this, huh? Okay, so what happens? The 6 H's, poof, are gone. I have a question for you. Okay, so we are going to get either a no solution or an infinite solution. Be quiet. When our variables go away, they cancel each other out. So then you need to read your mathematical sentence. Is negative 18 less than 1? Yes. How often? If the inequality sign was the other way, if you had negative 18 is greater than 1, that would be a no solution, but we didn't. Okay. What? Why don't you want to jump to 11?
It's literal equations.
No, it's not. Oh, well. You think we should start our homework now?
Good idea.